Come on, come in. Welcome, welcome.
Now we're unmuted. What's up, everyone? Man, some Father Christmas letters and hot chocolate. You cannot get better than that. That's like the perfect night. What's up, guys? This is my second stream of this book. We've finished maybe a third, maybe a little bit more than a third, maybe 3/8. We finished this much. Here's my bookmark. Maybe a little more than a third. What's up, Oakley? How are you? I'm glad you're excited for the stream. But this book moves quick, so I honestly kind of think that we might finish it tonight. Oh, both kitties hanging out. Oh, man. What? Love that. Love that. Good kitty night. Just chilling with some cats. Some cool cats. We're just going to chill and just read some letters from Father Christmas. It's going to be great. It's going to be a great time. Hold on 1 second. I got to organize my YouTube page right now real quick. Oh, love that. Playing a little Lord of the Rings online while listening. That is, man, you guys are having some good nights. Shisha Mundo. Man. Okay, so there's two things that I want to talk about, and they're both on the back cover of this, and I literally just turned there, and I'm curious about this. It says also available. JRR Tolkien, Mr. Bliss, illustrated by JRR Tolkien. Ooh, get a little second breakfast? Yes. Yeah, this honestly is a gem. This is so fun. I really love this book. Long time listener, first time caller. I love that. Shanti, welcome. Welcome. I'm glad that you're here. Yeah, welcome to chat for the first time. Yes, I love your guys' nights. Oh, who are you people? Painting and chatting and painting and listening? Gosh, I love that. What are you painting? Man, you guys are so cool. Okay, Mr. Bliss. What is Mr. Bliss? And then what is Tales from the Perilous Realm? And why does the cover look so cool? Look at that. That looks so fantastic. Whatever that is, it looks great. Hold on, I think I put a bookmark, or yeah, my place in the right section. Where are we in this page? We're in 1931. Tales of the Perilous Realm is some of his fairy stories. Interesting. Ooh, a little stained glass window. Oh, love that. I wish I could paint. I come from a family of painters, but I haven't trained enough to be able to paint. But maybe I'll give it a shot one of these days. My sister is a brilliant watercolor artist, and my dad is an unbelievable painter. He probably would say he isn't, but he's really incredible. He's so good. He has some of his paintings hanging around my childhood home, and they're some of my favorite paintings just of all time. Like, some of them are great. There's one that is hanging up in my room that is my favorite, that he put in my room because it was my favorite. And it was one of his least favorite, I think. It was just like this picture of this home on this rock in the middle of this island that there's like a storm going on, and I just love it so much. Just great. Mr. Bliss is a kid's book about a guy in his car and his mishaps. It's based on Tolkien's own experience with motor cars. I love that. Cars and bears. Interesting. This guy's written some interesting stuff. All right, well, everyone, we're just going to jump into some reading. I want to try to actually legitimately get through the rest of this book tonight. I don't know if we will. But we're just going to kind of get as far as we can. And so I'm just going to start reading some of these letters. And we're just going to have a good night, a good chill night. Everyone just go do your own thing. We can just kind of listen and hang out, chat a little bit. do some painting or sketching or chill, hang out with your cats or play Lord of the Rings online. Or I feel like this is good, like, secondary listening. Man. All right. And Merry Christmas to everyone, too. Starting to read. You're starting to read that 1, 2, taking a break after reading the Silmarillion, but Beren and Luthien and the Children of Húrin. Interesting. So are you reading? Wait, which one are you reading? The Perilous Realm or Letters from Father Christmas? Bum, bum, bum. Tolkien rants. How can you not paint when you can? When you are like legitimately an incredible artist? Do you use Procreate for all your stuff? Ooh, Father Christmas. Okay, good. Well, join as we just chill and enjoy read. This is his letter from 1931. So I did a little bit of this before. So we've finished that much. So I'm picking it up from where we left off. This is 1931. Cliff House, October 31st, 1931. Ooh, Tales from the Perilous Realm has some of Tolkien's best poems. Ooh, you wrote one about Tom Bombadil. Dear children, already I have got some letters from you. You are getting busy early. I have not begun to think about Christmas yet. It has been very warm in the north this year, and there has been very little snow so far. We are just getting in our Christmas firewood. I love that he writes in ruins. Like, it looks like ruins, but this is like actual English right here. It says, well, I'll read it, but it looks like Dwarven ruins or runes. This is just to say my messengers will be coming round regularly now. Winter has begun. We shall be having a bonfire tomorrow, and I shall like to hear from you. Sunday and Wednesday evenings are the best times to post to me. The polar bear is quite well and fairly good, though you never know what he will do with when the Christmas rush begins. Send my love to John, your loving Father Christmas. Glad Father Christmas has waked up. He slept nearly all this hot summer. I wish we could have snow. My coat is quite yellow. Love, Polar Bear. Cliff House, North Pole, December 23rd, 1931. My dear children, I hope you will like the little things I have sent you. You seem to be most interested in railways just now, so I am sending you mostly things of that sort. I send as much love as ever, in fact more. We have both, the old polar bear and I, enjoyed having so many nice letters from you and your pets. If you think we have not read them, you are wrong. But if you find that not many of the things you asked for have come, and not perhaps quite as many as sometimes, remember that this Christmas all over the world there are a terrible number of poor and starving people. What year is this again? 1931? 1932? Yeah, this is 1931. I, and also my green brother. Who's his green brother? Does Santa have a twin green brother? Crystal, what's up? Welcome. I and also my green brother have had to do some collecting of food and clothes and toys too, for the children whose fathers and mothers and friends cannot give them anything, sometimes not even dinner. I know yours won't forget you. So, my dears, I hope you will be happy this Christmas and not quarrel, and we'll have some good games with your railways all together. Don't forget old Father Christmas when you light your tree. Nor me, says the polar bear. It is gone on being warm up here, as I told you. Not what you would call warm, but warm for the North Pole, with very little snow. The North Polar Bear, if you know who I mean, has been lazy and sleepy as a result, and very slow over packing. or any job except eating. Silly. He has enjoyed sampling and tasting the food parcels this year to see if they were fresh and good, he said. Somebody has to. And I found stones in some of the currants. But that is not the worst. I should hardly feel it was Christmas if he didn't do something ridiculous. You will never guess what he did this time. I sent him down into one of my cellars, the cracker hole wall we call it, where I keep thousands of boxes of crackers. You would like to see them, rows upon rows, all with their lids off to show the kinds and colors. Also, this is probably the clearest image that we get of Father Christmas in this one. This is Father Christmas. Cute little guy. Ooh, maybe St. Patrick? Santa Claus and Luigi Claus. That's actually great. Well, I wanted 20 boxes and was busy sorting soldiers and farm things, so I sent him. And he was so lazy he took 2 snowboys who weren't allowed down there to help him. They started pulling crackers out of the boxes, and he tried to box them, the boys' ears, I mean. And they dodged and he fell over. And let his candle fall right poof into my firework crackers and boxes of sparklers. I could hear the noise and smell the smell in the hall, and when I rushed down, I saw nothing but smoke and fizzing stars. And old Polar Bear was rolling over on the floor with sparks sizzling in his coat. He has quite a bare patch burnt on his back. It looked fine. That's where Father Christmas spilled the gravy on my back at dinner. The snowboys roared with laughter and then ran away. They said it was a splendid sight. But they won't come to my party on St. Stephen's Day. They've had more than their share already. A party on St. Stephen's Day? Google said the Green Brother is just a Tolkien character. Interesting. That's really interesting because he mentions another character on St. Stephen's Day. What is St. Stephen's Day? Let me keep reading this letter. This is the long letter that he wrote. This is probably his longest one yet. 2 of the polar bear's nephews have been staying here for some time. Paksu and Valkatuka, which mean fat and white hair, they say it means. They are fat-tummied polar bear cubs and are very funny boxing one another and rolling about. But another time I shall have them on Boxing Day and not just at packing time. I fell over them 14 times a day last week. And Valatuka swallowed a ball of red string, thinking it was a cake. And he got it all wound up inside and had a tangled cough. He couldn't sleep at night, but I thought it rather served him right for putting holly in my bed. It was the same cub that poured all the black ink yesterday into my fire to make it night. And it did, and a very smelly, smoky one. We lost Paksu all last Wednesday and found him on the Thursday morning asleep in a cupboard in the kitchen. He had eaten 2 whole puddings raw. They seem to be growing up just like their uncle. Goodbye now. I shall soon be off on my travels once more. You need not believe any pictures you see of me in aeroplanes or motorcycles. I cannot drive one. I don't want to, and they are too slow anyways. Not to mention small. They cannot compare with my own reindeer, which I train myself. They are all very well this year, and I expect my posts will be in very good time. I've got some new young ones this Christmas from Lapland. A great place for wizards, but these are wizards. He's like incorporating some interesting lore here. St. Stephen's Day is the day after Christmas. Interesting. Feast of St. Stephen, December 26th. The first Christian martyr. Interesting. Okay. Holly in the bed, it does sound like torture. I love that he puts Christmas. I have got some new young ones this Christmas from Lapland, a great place for wizards, but these are whizzers. Whizzers. One day I will send you a picture of my deer stables and harness houses. I'm expecting that John, although he is now over 14, will hang up his stockings this last time. But I don't forget people even when they are past stocking age, not until they forget me. So I send love to you all. And especially little PM, who is beginning her stocking days, and I hope they will be happy. Your loving father, Christmas. P.S. This is drawn by North Polar Bear. Don't you think he is getting better? But the green ink is mine, and he didn't ask for it. This is the image that we get. That's the firework display going off. How cute is that? His illustrations are great. And I really love that he just takes the time to do this. This is another beautiful illustration. This might be my favorite one that he's made so far. Look how beautiful that is. Man. Gifted artist, too. I love his handwriting. He just has such good handwriting. If you actually look at some of these letters, every single he like writes it with almost like a cold hand, like a shaky hand. Like every one of his letters it looks like he's freezing. This is 1932. November 30th, 1932. My dear children, thank you for your nice letters. I have not forgotten you. I am very late this year and very worried. A very funny thing has happened. The polar bear has disappeared and I don't know where he is. I have not seen him since the beginning of this month, and I am getting anxious. Tomorrow, December, the Christmas month begins, and I don't know what I shall do without him. I am glad you are well, and your many pets. The Snow Babies' holidays begin tomorrow. I wish Polar Bear was here to look after them. Love to Michael, Christopher, and Priscilla. Please send John my love when you write to him. Father Christmas. Please send John my love when you write to him. Where was John at that point? Priscilla Marie Tolkien. Priscilla was born in 1929. Interesting. So she's only 5 years old, or no, 3 years old at this time. Please send John my love when you write to him. Is he at like a boarding school? Yeah, that's what I would probably think it would be, like some kind of boarding school situation, no? Yeah, I'd probably assume that it was that, because he's around. I think he's, because it said he was what, 13 in the last letter, so he's probably 14. It is really interesting that like John is kind of like in his teenage years, he like thinks he's too cool for this, but apparently he gets back into this idea and like really helps play it off for the littler kids, which I love. It's a great brother move. Tolkien went to boarding school, did he not? I don't know. John was probably in boarding school. That makes sense. This is December 23rd, 1932. My dear children, there is a lot to tell you. First of all, Merry Christmas. But there have been lots of adventures you will want to hear about. It all began with the funny noises underground, which started in the summer and got worse and worse. I was afraid an earthquake might happen. The North Polar Bear says he suspected what was wrong from the beginning. I only wish he had said something to me. And anyway, it can't be quite true, as he was fast asleep when it began, and did not wake up till about Michael's birthday. However, he went off for a walk one day, at the end of November, I think, and never came back. About a fortnight ago, I began to be really worried. For after all, the dear old thing is really a lot of help, in spite of accidents, and very amusing. One Friday evening, December 9th, there was a bumping at the front door and a snuffling. I thought he had come back and lost his key, as often before. But when I opened the door, there was another very old bear there. A very fat and funny-shaped one. Actually, it was the eldest of the few remaining cave bears, old Mr. Cave Bear Brown Cave. Old Mr. Cave, Brown Cave himself. I had not seen him for centuries. Do you want your North Polar Bear? He said. If you do, you had better come and get him. It turned out that he was lost in the caves belonging to Mr. Cave, Brown Cave. So he says. Not far from the ruins of my old house. He says he found a hole in the side of a hill, then went inside because it was snowing. He slipped down a long slope, and lots of rocks fell after him. And he found he could not climb up or get out again. How imaginative is this? I love this. It is crazy how much we know about a guy's life that we've never met. It is so interesting. It's such an interesting thought. But almost at once he smelt goblin and became interested and started to explore. Not very wise of him, for of course, goblins can't hurt him, but their caves are very dangerous. Naturally, he soon got quite lost, and the goblins shut off all their lights and made queer noises and false echoes. Goblins are to us very much what rats are to you, only because they are very clever, and only better because there are in these parts very few. We thought there were none left. Long ago we had great trouble with them. That was about 1453, I believe. But when we got the help of the gnomes, who were their greatest enemy, and cleared them out, anyway, there was poor old Polar Bear lost in the dark all among them, and all alone until he met Mr. Cave Brown Cave, who lives there. Cave Brown Cave can see pretty well in the dark, and he offered to take Polar Bear to his private back door, so they set off together. But the goblins were very excited and angry. Polar Bear had boxed 1 or 2 flats that came and poked him in the dark, and he had said some very nasty things to them all, and they enticed him away by imitating Cave Brown Cave's voice, which of course they know very well. So Polar Bear got into a frightful dark part, all full of different passages, and he lost Cave Brown Cave, and Cave Brown Cave lost him. Light is what we need, said Cave Brown Cave to me. So I got some of my special sparkling torches, which I sometimes use in my deepest cellars, and we set off that night. Dang, this is a great letter. I love that what happened in the year 1493? Someone look up that year, see if there's anything like legitimately in the world that was happening. That there was a great trouble. We thought there was none left. Long ago, we had a great trouble with them. That was about 1453, I believe. But we got the help of the gnomes, who were their greatest enemy, and cleared them out. Columbus got back? Interesting. Is that actually true? Cave Brown Cave is gone, very gone, for sure. That's actually so funny. Tolkien originally called the Noldor elves the gnomes. Noldor. That's so crazy. I love that. That's actually so funny. This is like Lord of the Rings, like spillage. Like all the stuff that didn't make the final cut of Lord of the Rings, he put in his letters to his children. It's actually so great. He just loved creating worlds. Let's keep reading. He wrote a long letter to his kids. Oh my gosh, this one is so long. Oh my goodness. This one is pages. This one had to be like a 10-page letter. It's 10 pages on this, probably like a 5-page letter in his actual handwriting. And with some unbelievable illustrations. I can't wait to show you guys this stuff. I'll show you guys as we go. Ah, this is so cool. Okay, here we go. Let's keep reading because this is probably one of the juiciest letters. It is 1453, not 93. I might have said 53. It's 1453. Look up what happened in 1453 in the North Pole. The caves are wonderful. I knew they were there, but not how many or how big they were. Of course, the goblins went off into the deepest holes and corners, and we soon found Polar Bear. He was getting quite lost and thin with hunger, as if he had been in the caves about a fortnight. 1453 is the fall of Constantinople. That's actually hilarious. I feel like there's something there. I feel like there's like Tolkien is like piecing things together. He's saying he's writing some kind of commentary about the fall of Constantinople in this. That is so great. He said, this is what Polar Bear says. I should soon have been able to squeeze through a goblin crack. Polar Bear himself was astonished when I brought light. For the most remarkable thing is that the walls of these caves are all covered with pictures, cut into the rock or painted on in red and brown and black. Some of them are very good, mostly of animals, and some are queer and some bad. And there are many strange marks, signs, and scribbles, some of which have a nasty look, and I am sure that something that has something to do with black magic. Cave Brown Cave says these caves belong to him, and have belonged to him and his family since the days of his great multiplied by 10 grandfather. And the bears first had the idea of decorating the walls and used to scratch pictures on them on the soft parts. It was useful for sharpening the claws. Then men came along. Imagine it. Cave Brown Cave says there were lots about at one time long ago, when the North Pole was somewhere else. Interesting. That was long before my time, and I have never heard old grandfather Yule mention it even. So I don't know if he is talking nonsense or not. Many of the pictures were done by these cavemen. The best ones, especially the big ones, almost life-size, of animals, some of which have since disappeared. There are dragons and quite a lot of mammoths. Men also put some of the black marks and pictures there, but the goblins have scribbled all over the place. They can't draw very well. And anyway, they are like nasty queer shapes at best. North Polar Bear got quite excited when he saw all these things. This really is like Gone Very Gone, and like the Druidane. Oh, the letters are dated according to Father Christmas's own invented calendar, not the modern calendar. Interesting. Okay, that's a good little tidbit of info right there. He really does like writing about caves. All the good stuff, all the good stories happen in caves. Yeah, Yzma and Emperor's New Groove. What a great movie. Oh, I love that movie. He said, these cave people could draw better than you, Daddy Noel. And wouldn't your young friend just like to see some really good pictures, especially some properly drawn bears for a change? Rather rude, I thought, if only a joke, as I take a lot of trouble over my Christmas pictures. Some of them take quite a minute to do. And though I only send them to special friends, I have a good many in different places. So just to show him and please you, I have copied a whole page from the wall of the chief central cave, and I send you a copy. It is not perhaps quite as well drawn as the originals, which are very, very much larger, except for the goblin parts, which are easy. There are only parts of the polar bear can do at all. He says he likes them best. But that is only because he can copy them. The goblin pictures must be very old because the goblin fighters are still on drascils, a very queer sort of dwarf dachshund horse creature they used to use. But they have died out long ago. I believe the red gnomes finished them off somewhere about Edward the Fourth's time. This is crazy. Okay, this is the illustration that we get. There we go. Look at that. I love the description of these. They're like horse-like dachshund creatures. You can kind of see some of them. Like, I think this red one right here is like the horse-like dachshund creature. It's hard to see. These are great. He's got like a rhino here. He's got some woolly mammoth. It looks like a bison. Some gnomes. You have like the red hand, like a red hand of Saruman right here. Or red hand of, Saruman. Look at these on the bottom. You can see like these little dachshund creatures, and they're riding them. This is just so fascinating. I love this. I love how much time and effort he poured into this. Edward the Fourth's time. When was Edward the Fourth's time? He says, you will see some more on the pillar in my picture of the caves. Doesn't the hairy rhinoceros look wicked? There is also a nasty look in the mammoth's eye. You will also see an ox, a stag, a boar, a cave bear, portrait of Mr. Cave Brown Cave's 71st ancestor, he says, and some other kind of polarish but not quite polar bear. North Polar Bear would like to believe it's a portrait of one of his ancestors. Just under the bears is the best a goblin can do at drawing a reindeer. Now, one of the interesting things about this is I feel like this is the original I Spy. This is like JRR Tolkien's version of I Spy for his kids. He's literally creating an I Spy game for his kids. I wonder if that was like a popular book that was out at the time, by any chance. Someone look up the first I Spy book that was published. I'm really curious if it was around that time and Tolkien didn't have the money to buy that, so maybe he created one himself and gave it to his kids. Everyone see Wes back there? He's taking a nap. He's the cutest. You just fart? That was gross, Wes. War of the Roses time. Interesting. I wonder if this is a commentary on the War of the Roses. Yeah, I know Wes does want to see the pictures. You have been so good in writing to me, and such beautiful letters too, that I have tried to draw you some specially nice pictures this year. At the top of my Christmas card is a picture, imaginary, but more or less, as it really is, of me arriving at Oxford. Your house is just about where the 3 little black points stick up out of the shadows of the right. I am coming from the north, you see. And note, not with 12 pair of deer, as you will see in some books. I usually use 7 pair. 14 is such a nice number. And at Christmas, especially if I am hurried, I add 2 special white ones in front. Next comes a picture of me in Cave Brown Cave and the North Polar Bear exploring the caves. I will tell you more about that in a minute. The last picture is also imaginary. That is, it hasn't happened yet. It soon will. On St. Stephen's Day, when all the rush is over, I am going to have a rowdy party. The Cave Brown Cave's grandchildren, they are exactly like live teddy bears, snow babies, some children of the red gnomes, and of course polar cubs, including Paxu and Valkatuka, will be there. I am wearing a pair of new green trousers. They were a present from my green brother. Again, the green brother mentioned. I Spy came out in 1992. They probably took it from Tolkien. They stole it. I am wearing a pair of they were a present from my green brother, but I only wear them but I only wear them at home. Goblins anyway dislike green, so I found them useful. You see, when I rescued Polar Bear, we hadn't finished the adventures. At the beginning of last week, we went into the cellars to get up the stuff for England. He said to Polar Bear, somebody has been disarranging things here. Paxu and Valaktuka, I expect, he said. But it wasn't. Next day, things were much worse, especially among the railway things. Lots of which seemed to be missing. I ought to have guessed, and Polar Bear anyway ought to have mentioned his guess to me. Last Saturday, we went down and found nearly everything had disappeared out of the main cellar. Imagine my state of mind. Nothing hardly to send to anybody. And too little time to get or make enough new stuff. North Polar Bear said, I smell goblins strong. Of course it was obvious. They love mechanical toys, though they quickly smash them and want more and more and more. And practically all the Hornby things had gone. Eventually, we found a large hole, but not big enough for us, leading to a tunnel behind some packing cases in the west cellar. As you will expect, we rushed off to find Cave Brown Cave, and we went back to the caves. We soon understood the queer noises. It was plain the goblins long ago had burrowed a tunnel from the caves to my old home, which was not so far from the end of their hills, and had stolen a good many things. We found some things more than 100 years old, even a few parcels still addressed to your great-great-grandpeople. But they had been very clever, and not too greedy, and had not found out. And ever since I moved, they must have been busy burrowing all the way to my cliff, boring, banging, and blasting quietly as they could. At last they had reached my new cellars, and the sight of the Hornby things was too much for them. They took all they could. I dare say they were still angry with the polar bear. Also, they thought we couldn't get at them, but I sent my patent green luminous smoke down the tunnel, and polar bear blew and blew it with our enormous kitchen bellows. They simply shrieked and rushed out of the other cave. But there were red gnomes there. I had specially sent for them. A few of the real old families are still in Norway. They captured hundreds of the goblins and chased many more into the snow, which they hate. We made them show us the things they had hidden, or bring them back all again. And by Monday, we had got practically everything back. The gnomes are still dealing with the goblins, and promise there won't be one left by the new year, but I am not so sure. They will crop up again in a century or so, I expect. Oh. So they're going to be back. We're going to get a sequel of this. Henry VII was already reigning by 1493. Interesting. Let's keep reading. We have had a rush, but dear old Brown Cave and his sons and gnome ladies helped, so that we are now very well forward and all packed. I hope there is not the faintest smell of a goblin about any of your things. They have all been well aired. There are still a few railway things missing, but I hope you will have what you want. I am not able to carry quite as much toy cargo as usual this year. Yes, I am taking a good deal of food and clothes, useful stuff. There are far too many people in your land, and others who are hungry and cold this winter. I am glad that with you. Hey. I am glad that with you the weather is warmish. It is not warm here. We have had tremendous icy winds and terrific snowstorms, and my old house is quite buried, but I am feeling very well, better than ever. And though my hand wobbles with a pen, partly because I don't like writing as much as drawing, which I learned first, I don't think it is so wobbly this year. The polar bear got your father's scribbles today, and was very puzzled by it. I told him it looked like some old lecture notes, and he laughed. He says he thinks Oxford is quite a mad place if people lecture such stuff, but I don't suppose anybody listens to it. The drawings pleased him better. He said, at any rate, those boys' father tried to draw bears, though they aren't good. Of course it's all nonsense, but I will answer it. So he made up an alphabet from the marks in the cave. He says it's much nicer than the ordinary letters, or than runes, or polar letters, and suits his paw better. He writes them all with the tail of his pen holder. He has sent a short letter to you in his alphabet, to wish you have a Merry Christmas, and lots of fun in the New Year, and good luck at school. As you are so clever now, he says, what with Latin and French and Greek, you will easily read it, and see that Polar Bear sends much love. I am not so sure, but Polar Bear says that nearly all of it is actually in my letters between the two red stars. Anyway, I dare say he would send you a copy of his alphabet if you wrote and asked. By the way, he writes it in columns from top to bottom, not across. Don't tell him I gave away his secret. This is great. I feel like Tolkien named the dachshund horse pictures after you saw what he drawn for sure. He tried to draw like a horse and was like, oh, that looks like a dachshund. And he just drew a dachshund. This is one of my very longest letters. It has been an exciting time. I hope you will like hearing about it. I send you all my love. John, Michael, Christopher, and Priscilla. Also, Mommy and Daddy and Auntie and all the people in your house. I dare say John will feel like he has got to give up stockings now, and give way to many new children that have arrived since he first began to hang up his. But Father Christmas will not forget him. Bless you all. Your loving Nicholas Christmas. And these were the runes that he sent, that he drew. Look how intricate that is. That is so beautiful. Looks like Egyptian hieroglyphics. This is the bear language. Man, Tolkien. How imaginative and creative is he? These are so fun. These are just so good. All right, we've got a few more letters left. Still a bunch, but I think that was the longest letter that we read. This is 1933, December 2nd. Dear people, very cold here at last. Business has really begun, and we are working hard. I have had a good many letters from you. Thank you. I have made notes of what you want so far. But I expect I shall hear more from you yet. I am rather short of messengers. The goblins have, but I haven't had time to tell you about our excitements now. Oh, so he's like about to tell them a story. He goes, the goblins have, but I haven't time to tell you about our excitements now. I hope I shall find time to send you a letter later. Give John my love when you see him. I send love to all of you and a kiss for Priscilla. Tell her my beard is quite nice and soft, as I have never shaved. 3 weeks to Christmas Eve. Your father, Nicholas Christmas. This is from the bear. Cheer up, chaps. Also, chaplet, if that's the feminine. The fun's beginning. Yours, Polar Bear. That is great. I know, he just has such an imaginative mind. Like, I love that he's just like creating these stories for his children like this. My dears, this is December 21st of 1933. Another Christmas. And I almost thought at one time in November that there would not be one this year. There would be the 25th of December, of course, but nothing from your old great, etc. grandfather at the North Pole. My pictures tell you part of the story. Goblins. The worst attack we have had for centuries. They have been fearfully wild and angry ever since we took all their stolen toys off them last year and doused them with green smoke. You remember the red gnomes promised to clear off all of them out. There was not one to be found in any hole or cave by the New Year's Day. But I said that they would crop up again in a century or so. They have not waited so long. Wes is really thirsty, by the way. Good boy, buddy. They must have gathered their nasty friends from mountains all over the world and been busy all summer while we were at our sleepiest. This time we have had very little warning. Soon after All Saints' Day, Polar Bear got very restless. He now says he smelt nasty smells, but as usual, he did not say anything. He says he did not want to trouble me. He really is a nice old thing. And this time, he absolutely saved Christmas. He took to sleeping in the kitchen with his nose toward the cellar door, opening on the main stairway into my big stores. One night, just about Christopher's birthday, I woke up suddenly. There was a squeaking and a spluttering in the room and a nasty smell. In my own best green and purple room that I had just done up most beautifully, I caught sight of a wicked little face in the window. Then I was really upset, for my window is high up above the cliff, and that meant there were bat-riding goblins about, which we haven't seen since the Goblin War in 1453 that I told you about. This is wild. I was only quite just awake when a terrific din began far downstairs in the store cellars. It would take too long to describe, so I've tried to draw a picture of what I saw when I got down, after treading on a goblin on the mat. Only there was like 1,000 goblins, more than 15. That's what Polar Bear says. But you could hardly expect me to draw 1,000. Polar Bear was squashing, trampling, boxing, and kicking goblins sky high and roaring like a zoo. and the goblins were yelling like engine whistles. He was splendid. So say no more. I enjoyed it immensely. That's what Polar Bear says. Well, it's a long story. The trouble lasted for over a fortnight, and it began to look as if I should never be able to let my sleigh out this year. The goblins had set part of the stores on fire and captured several gnomes who slept down there on the guard. Before Polar Bear and even more gnomes came in and killed 100 before I arrived. Even when we had put out the fires and cleared the cellars and house, I can't think what they were doing in my room unless they were trying to set fire to my bed. The trouble went on. The ground was black with goblins under the moon when we looked out, and they had broken up my stables and gone off with the reindeer. This is a tale right now. I had to blow my golden trumpet, which I have not done for many years, to summon all my friends. Isn't there something in... Well, this is like the Horn of Gondor. Isn't there something in C.S. Lewis? Isn't there something in Narnia that if he blows the horn, help will come? Isn't one of the gifts that? Gandalf is supposed to be 5'6". Interesting. The height difference between certain characters. Susan's horn, interesting. So it was a horn that I don't know what Father Christmas's horn really does. Wait, let's figure it out, because this is really getting interesting. I feel like he could have written like a Lord of the Rings for like the north, for the polar regions. This kind of feels like it's it. Okay, so he hasn't done this for many years, to summon all of his friends. There were several battles. Every night they used to attack and set fires in the stores before we got the upper hand, and I am quite afraid a lot of my dear elves got hurt. Fortunately, we have not lost much except my best string, gold and silver, and packing paper and holly boxes. I am very short of these, and I have been very short of messengers. Lots of my people are still away, and I hope they will come back safe, chasing the goblins out of my land, those that are left alive. They have all rescued my reindeer. We are quite happy and settled again now. I feel much safer. It really will be centuries before we get another goblin trouble. Thanks to Polar Bear and the gnomes, there can't be very many left at all. And Father Christmas, I wish I could draw or had time to try. You have no idea what the old man can do. Listening are lightning and fireworks and thunder of guns. That's what the Polar Bear says. Polar Bear certainly has been busy helping, and double help. But he has mixed up some of the girls' things with the boys in a hurry. We hope we have got it all sorted. But if you hear of anyone getting a doll when they wanted an engine, you will know why. Actually, Polar Bear tells me I am wrong. We did lose a lot of railway stuff. Goblins always go for that. And what we got back was damaged, and will have to be repainted. It will be a busy summer next year. Now, a Merry Christmas to you all once again. I hope you will have a very happy time and will find that I have taken notice of your letters and sent you what you wanted. I don't think my pictures are very good this year, though I took quite time over them. At least 2 minutes. Polar Bear says, I don't see a lot of stars and pictures of goblins in your bedroom. And pictures of goblins in your bedroom are frightfully merry. Still, I hope you won't mind. It is rather good of Polar Bear kicking anyway. Anyway, I send lots of love. Yours ever and annually, Father Christmas. This is a wild image that he drew of them. It is Polar Bear just launching and stepping and kicking on gnomes. Look at this. You can kind of barely see it, but there is the Polar Bear in the middle. He's stepping on a little, not a gnome, on a what's he stepping on? What were the creatures? The little not the elves, what the heck? Why am I literally blanking on what I just read? Yeah, the orcs. And he's like launching some right here. They're just flying everywhere. Yeah, the goblins, thank you. Man, this is great. is just so imaginative. Yeah, snow works. These are literally just snow works. These letters are great. And his kids are getting older now. Man, we just experienced a whole goblin rebellion right now. All right, this is 1943 or 1934, and look how it opens. At once, urgent, express. My dear Christopher, thank you. I'm awake, and have been a long while. But my post office does not really ever open until Michaelmas. I shall not be sending my messengers out regularly this year until about October 15th. There is a good deal to do up here. Your telegram. That is why I've sent an express reply, and Priscilla's letters were found quite by accident. Not by a messenger, but by Bellman. I don't know how he got that name because he never rings anyway. He is my chimney inspector and always begins work as soon as the first fires are lit. Very much love to you and Priscilla. The polar bear, if you remember him, is still fast asleep, and quite thin after so much fasting. He will cure that. I shall tickle his ribs and wake him soon, and then he will eat several months' breakfast all in one. More love, your loving Father Christmas. To messengers, deliver at once and don't stop on the way. By elf messengers, and this is the little image he drew underneath it. Look at this. It's this elf like literally sprinting and tripping over. You have Tolkien's kid must have been wild. Yeah, we've had second breakfast. What about several months breakfast? That's what the polar bears are saying. A lot of second breakfast jokes tonight. I love this. I love a good second breakfast joke. This is Christmas Eve, 1934. My dear Christopher. Hold on 1 second. Let me take some water. Water. Thank you very much for your many letters. I've not had time this year to write you as long a letter as 1932 and 1933, but nothing at all exciting has happened. I hope I have pleased you with things I am bringing, and that they are near enough to your lists. I have not got any Thornton Burgesses left, but I am sending a book that you have not had, but have heard of. Deer Slayer, with some nice pictures. I am also sending a baby Bingolet, which I hope you will like. Polar Bear says, why not all white? He seems to think any bear is dirty if it is not white all over. Very little news. After the frightful business of last year, there has not been even a smell of goblin for 200 miles round. But, as I said it would, it took us far into the summer to repair the damage, and we lost a lot of sleep and rest. When November came round, we did not feel like getting to work, and we were rather slow and have been rather rushed to the end. Also, it has been unusually warm for the North Pole, and the polar bear still keeps on yawning. Paksu and Voloktuka have been here a long while. They have grown a good deal, but still get up to frightful mischief in between times of trying to help. This year they stole my paints and painted scrawls on the white walls of my cellars, ate all the mincemeat out of the pies made ready for Christmas, and only yesterday went and unpacked half the parcels to find railways things to play with. They don't get on well with the cave cubs, somehow. Several of these have arrived today and are staying here a few nights with old Brown Cave, who is their uncle, granduncle, grandfather, great-granduncle, etc. Paksu is always kicking them because they squeak and grunt so funnily. Polar Bear has to box him often, and a box from Polar Bear is no joke, as there are no goblins about, and as there is no wind, and far much less snow than usual, we are going to have a great Boxing Day party ourselves, out of doors. I shall ask 100 elves and red gnomes. Lots of polar cubs, cave cubs, and snow babies, of course. Paksu and Valaktuka, and polar bear and cave brown cave and his nephews, etc. They will all be there. We have brought a tree from all the way from Norway and planted it in a pool of ice. My picture gives you the idea of its size, or of the loveliness of its magic lights of different colors. This is the tree that he drew. It's actually a really beautiful one. Check that out. I love this so much. Michaelmas is September 29th. It's also mentioned in Pride and Prejudice. That's where I heard it. Michaelmas. Okay. I was asking the question about what Michaelmas was when we were reading that live. Yeah, that's a great picture that he wrote that he drew right there. I love like the little details that he puts in things too. Like this is one of my favorite things that he does in his art. Like you can barely see it here. It's like a little grainy and pixelated. But like all these are just individual lines going forth. But the top line, he just did the mountains. Like it's so artistic. Like my brother kind of does some art like that. My brother would love this. Keep reading Lord of the Rings for the horn. Pronounce Michaelmas, not Michaelmas. Michaelmas. Yeah, this is a really pretty picture. You guys gotta just look these up online because this is stunning. There's like just such cool detail here. And just he uses like colors in a really fun way. I could just stare at these for a long time. They're just like fun to look at. Yeah, his use of color is really cool. There's a song that you learned as a kid about Michaelmas. Michaelmas. All right, I'm going to keep reading to the end of this letter. We tried them yesterday evening to see if they were all right. If you see a bright glow in the north, you will know what it is. The tree-ish things behind are snow plants and piled masses of snow made into ornamental shapes. They are purple and black because of darkness and shadow. The colored things in the front is a special edging to the ice pool, and it is made of real colored icing. Paksu and Valaktuka are nibbling at it, though they should not till the party. Polar Bear started to draw this to help me, as I was busy, but he dropped such blots, enormous ones, to hold up the light, and you will see where. I had to come up to rescue. Not very good this year, never mind, perhaps better next year. I hope you will like your presents, and be very happy. Your loving Father Christmas. P.S. I can't remember exactly what year I was born. I doubt if anyone knows. I am always changing my own mind about it. Anyway, it was 1934 years ago, or jolly near that. Bless you. FC. P.P.S. Give my love to Mick and John. Polar Bear, love, busy, thanks. Polar Bear didn't write a lot that one. He just wrote Polar Bear, love, busy, thanks. Father Christmas was born in the year 0. It was 1934 years ago, or jolly near that. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do Leaf by Niggle. I keep hearing about that. Definitely going to do that one. Yeah, this is the Depression era. So it's interesting, too, because part of me thinks, like, when I was reading the some of the letters, like the Goblin War that he's having, like, this is... He was writing some of these in the beginning when he was writing the letters initially, but some of them almost seem like apologies to his kids for not being able to get the gifts that they really wanted. Like, it's like a cute little excuse. It's like Father Christmas had like all sorts of troubles up north. He was battling goblins, and Polar Bear was lighting fireworks off in his house, and there was all sorts of trouble and turmoil. You can like really feel the poverty in some of what he's writing. But this is where we get some of the most beautiful imaginative letters. Like, this is incredible. Yeah, he's putting it in a way his kids understand, which is really, really beautiful. Or not necessarily that is like, yeah, in a way that his kids understand, but just like a more imaginative way, like a more creative way. Like, it's boring just saying, hey, we're poor, we can't afford these gifts, which his kids would understand too. But he's like inflaming their imagination through this. which is so much, it's a great way to do it. It's beautiful. This is, he sent Priscilla a specific letter here. This is December 24th, 1934. Dear Priscilla, thank you for nice letters. Lots of love. I hope you will be quite well and enjoy the things I am bringing. Can you read this yourself yet? It is my best writing. And he wrote this, like, legitimately, this is definitely his best writing. Look how, like, clear this letter is when he writes it. And it's like everything is on line and on point. It is beautiful. Yeah, the letters really are a gift. Polar Bear sends love. He is glad you have called your bear Bingo. He thinks it's a jolly name, but he thinks bears ought to be white all over. I send a picture with Christopher's letter, which is for both of you. Your loving Father Christmas. Love, Busy. Thanks, Polar Bear. December 24th, 1935. My dear children, here we are again. Christmas seems to come round pretty soon again. Always much the same and always different. No ink this year and no water, so no painted pictures. Also very cold hands, so very wobbly writing. Last year it was very warm, but this year it's frightfully cold. Snow, 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 and ice. We have been simply buried. Messengers have got lost and found themselves in Nova Scotia. If you know where that is, even instead of in Scotland. And PB, if you know who that is, could not get home. Polar Bear writes, silly. This is a picture of my house about a week ago before we got the reindeer sheds dug out. We had to make a tunnel at the front door. There are only 3 windows upstairs shining through holes. There is steam where the snow is melting off the dome and the roof. This is a view from my bedroom window, of course. Snow coming down is not blue, but blue is cold. You understand why your letters were slow going in. I hope I got them all. And anyway, that the right things arrive for you. Poor old PB, if you know who I mean, had to go away soon after the snow began last month. Polar Bear writes, silly again. There was some trouble in his family, and Paksu and Voloktuka were ill. He is very good at doctoring anybody but himself. But it is a dreadful long way over the ice and snow, to North Greenland, I believe. And when he got there, he could not get back, so I have been rather held up, especially as the reindeer stables and the outdoor store sheds are snow-covered. This is the little image that he drew. Wow, these letters are just crazy. This is the one that he was talking about, the steam coming off. Like, how beautiful are these letters? Man. I have had to have a lot of red elves to help me. They are very nice and great fun, but although they are very quick, they don't get on fast, for they turn everything into a game, even digging snow, and they will play with the toys they are supposed to be packing. PB, if you remember him, silly again, he did not get back until Friday, December 13th, so that proved a lucky day for me after all. Hear, hear. Even if he had to wear a sheepskin coat and red gloves for his paws. And he had got a hood on and red gloves. He thinks it looks rather like Rye St. Anthony. Someone want to look that up? Rye St. Anthony? But of course, he does not very much. Anyway, he carries things in his hood. He brought home his sponge and soap in it. He says that we have not seen the last of the goblins, in spite of the battles in 1933. They won't dare come into my land yet, but for some reason they are breeding again and multiplying all over the world. Quite a nasty outbreak. But there are not so many in England, he says. I suspect I shall have trouble with them soon. I have given my elves some new magic sparkler spears that will scare them out of their wits. It is now December 24th, and they have not appeared this year, and practically everything is packed and ready. I shall be starting soon. I send you all. John, Michael, and Christopher and Priscilla my love and good wishes for this Christmas. Tons of good wishes. Pass on a few if you don't want them all. Polar Bear. In case you don't know what PB is, stupid joke, sends love to you. And the Bingos, and to Orange, Teddy, and to Jubilee. Oh yes, I learn lots of news, even in snowy weather. My messengers will be about until New Year if you want to write and tell me everything was all right. I hope you will enjoy the pantomime. Your loving Father Christmas. P.S. Paksu and Voloktuka are well again. Only mumps. They will be at my big party on St. Stephen's Day. And other polar bear cubs, cave cubs, snow babies, elves, and all the rest. Wow, these are just so lovely and so warm. I might make a video about this because this is just so incredible. This really is like Lord of the Rings in like polar bear country in the North Pole. This is December 23rd, 1936. My dear children, I am sorry I cannot send you a long letter to thank you for yours, but I am sending you a picture which will explain a good deal. It is a good thing your changed lists arrived before these awful events, or I could not have done anything about it. I do hope you will like what I am bringing, and will forgive any mistake. And I hope nothing will still be wet. I am so shaky and upset. I am getting one of my elves to write a bit more about things. I send very much love to you all. Whoa. What a gripping intro to this letter. This is what the elf says. Father Christmas says you will want to hear some news. Polar Bear has been quite good, or had been, though he has been rather tired. So was Father Christmas. I think the Christmas business is getting rather too much for them. So, a lot of us, red and green elves, have gone to live permanently at Cliff House and to be trained in the packing business. It was Polar Bear's idea. He also invented the number system so that every child that Father Christmas deals with has a number, and we elves learn them all by heart. And the address and the addresses. That saves a lot of writing. Interesting. So many children had the same name that every packet used to have the addresses as well. Polar Bear said, I'm going to have a record year and help Father Christmas get so forward that we can have some fun ourselves on Christmas Day. We all worked hard, and you will be surprised to hear that every single parcel was packed and numbered by Saturday, December 19th. Then Polar Bear said, I am tired out. I'm going to have a hot bath and go to bed early. Well, you can guess what happened. Father Christmas was taking a last look round in the English delivery room about 10 o'clock when water poured through the ceiling and swamped everything. Soon it was 6 inches deep on the floor. Polar Bear had simply got into the bath with both taps running and gone fast asleep with one hind paw in the overflow. He had been asleep 2 hours when we woke him. Father Christmas was really angry. But Polar Bear only said, I did have a jolly dream. I dreamt I was diving off a melting iceberg and chasing seals. He said later when he saw the damage, well, there is one thing. Those children at the North Pole Road, Oxford, he always says that, may lose some of their presents. But they will have a letter worth hearing this year. They can see a joke, even if none of you can. Interesting. Again, this is like it's like sad because this is the middle of the Depression, so they're dealing with a lot of poverty, I'm sure, but like he's coming up with creative excuses for why he can't get his kids all these gifts. Because Polar Bear spilled a lot of water on them. That made that made Father Christmas angrier, and Polar Bear said, well, draw a picture of it and ask them if it's funny or not. So Father Christmas has. But he has begun to think it funny, although very annoying, himself. Now we have cleared up the mess and got the English presents repacked again just in time. We are rather tired, so please excuse scrawly writing. Your Ilbereth, secretary to Father Christmas. Ilbereth? Is that a Lord of the Rings character? We have Yorith. Is Ilbereth like an elf? I feel like I've heard Ilbereth before. Elbereth. We have Elbereth. This is Ilbereth. This is the Queen of the Valar. It's a close name, so it's an E. It's an I instead of E. This is so interesting. The connections between the two. I'm very sorry. Been busy. This is the polar bear writing. Very sorry, been busy. Can't find that alphabet. We'll look after Christmas and post it. Yours, Polar Bear. And this is Father Christmas. You will find 2 snapshots in this letter. Give them back to your mother. I hope she has not missed them. One of my elves borrowed them. You will find out what for your Father Christmas. This is Polar Bear writing again. I have found it. I send you a copy. You needn't fill it in black. You needn't fill in black parts if you don't want to. It takes rather long to write in. But I think it's rather clever. Still busy. Father Christmas says I can't have a bath till next year. Love to you both because you see jokes. Polar Bear. I got into hot water, didn't I? Ha ha. This is great. This is the little the script that Polar Bear writes in, and this is the little crypta thing. And then I think he drew the picture on the next page. Where it was here. Where was that picture? This. Look at this great picture. The bottom one is Polar Bear teaching the red elves and the green elves. So this one is he's teaching the red and the green. And this is him taking the bath upstairs, and then all the water is pouring down into the presents. This is just great. I'm having such a good time reading this. We're going to finish this book too. I love this. Probably another like half hour of reading and we'll be done. Maybe even less. What a lovely... I just keep saying this, but this book is just so lovely. This is November 2nd, 1936. Wanted. Dolls, 70,000. Noah's Arks, 8,000. Engines, 50,000. Books. Girls, 80,000 or more. Boys, 90,000. Crackers, 10,000 dozen boxes. Chalks, 20,000 boxes. Paint boxes, 2,000 boxes. Dinky toys, send to maker for all new sorts. Pencils, 10 million. Bears, 60,000. Chocolates, question mark. In stores enough, probably of you the usual things. We seem a bit short of soldiers, farm things, railway lines, woolly animals, toy bricks, and Hornby trucks. NB. Send messengers round to makers to see if any good new things this year. Just a bit of FC's scribbling. I couldn't find any clean paper. He has locked his study door. That is so creative. Ah, I'm blown away by how creative that is. So he essentially wrote on the back of a note for Father Christmas's scribblings. He wanted Polar Bear to send them an individual message. So he faked, oh, this is so brilliant. He faked like this inventory note. And then he has it crossed off, and then Polar Bear wrote on the side. So this is the letter. And then you have this it's like a ledger of everything that Father Christmas needs. And then all of a sudden you have Polar Bear's little note here because he just wanted to send them a letter. How cute is that? How imaginative. Oh, so good. All right, this is Christmas 1937. My dear Christopher and Priscilla and other old friends in Oxford, here we are again. Of course I am always here, when not traveling. But you know what I mean. Christmas again. I believe it is 17 years since I started to write to you. I wonder if you still have got all my letters. I have not been able to keep quite all yours, but I have got some from every year. We had quite a fright this year. No letters came from you. Then one day, early in December, I sent a messenger who used to go to Oxford a lot, but had not been there for a long while, and he said, their house is empty, and everything is sold. I was afraid something had happened, or that you had all gone to school in some other town, and your father and mother had moved. Of course, I now know.
The messenger had been to your old house next door. He complained that all the windows were shut and the chimneys all blocked up. I was very glad indeed to get Priscilla's first letter, and your 2 nice letters, and useful lists and hints since Christopher came back. I quite understand that school makes it difficult for you to write like you used to, and of course I have new children coming on my lists each year so that I don't get less busy. Tell your father I am sorry about his eye and throat. I once had my eyes very bad from snow blindness, which comes from looking at sunlit snow. What happened to Tolkien's eye and throat? Do we have records of that? Anyway, but it got better. I hope Priscilla and your mother and everyone else will be well on December 25th. I'm afraid I have not enough time to draw you a picture this year. You see, I strained my hand moving heavy boxes in the cellars in November and could not start my letters until later than usual, and my hand still gets tired quickly. But Ilbereth, one of the cleverest elves who I took on as a secretary not long ago, is becoming very good. He can write several alphabets now. Arctic, Latin, that is ordinary European like you use, Greek, Russian, runes, and of course Elvish. His writing is a bit thin and slanting. He has a very slender hand, and his drawing is a bit scratchy, I think. He has done you what he calls a picture diary. I hope it will do. He won't use paints. He says he is a secretary, and so uses only ink and pencils. He is going to finish this letter for me, and as I have some other things to do. So I will send you lots of love, and do hope that I have chosen the best things out of your suggested list. I was going to send hobbits. I am sending away loads, mostly second editions, which I have sent only for a few days ago. But I thought you would have lots, so I am sending another Oxford fairy story. Lots of love, lots and lots of love, Father Christmas. So Father Christmas is sending JRR Tolkien's hobbits to his own children. That is absolutely glorious. That is so funny. And this is the image that, what does he say? The picture diary that he sends. I love this. This is so good. Dear children, I am Ilbereth. I have written to you before. I am finishing for Father Christmas. Shall I tell you about my pictures? Polar Bear and Valkatuka and Poxu are always lazy after Christmas, or rather after St. Stephen's party. Father Christmas is ringing for breakfast in vain. Another day when Polar Bear, as usual, was late. Not true. Paxu threw a bath sponge full of icy water on his face. Polar Bear chased him all around the house and around the garden, and then forgave him because he had not caught Paxu, but had found a huge appetite. We had terrible weather at the end of the winter, and actually had rain. We could not go out for days. I had drawn Polar Bear and his nephews when they did venture out. Paxu and Valkatuka have never gone away. They like it so much they have begged to stay. It was much too warm in the North Pole this year. A large lake formed at the bottom of the cliff, and left the North Pole standing on an island. I have drawn a view looking south, so the cliff is on the other side. It was about midsummer. The North Polar Bear, his nephews, and a lot of other polar cubs used to come and bathe. Also seals. North Polar Bear took to trying to paddle a boat or a canoe, but he fell in so often that the seals thought he liked it. He used to get under the boat and tip it up. That made him annoyed. The sport did not last as long as the waters froze again in early August. Then we began to think of this Christmas. In my picture, Father Christmas is dividing up the lists and giving me a special lot. You are in it. That is why your numbers are on the board. North Polar Bear, of course, always pretends to be managing everything. That's why he's pointing. But I am really listening to Father Christmas, and I am saluting him, not North Polar Bear. Rude little errand boy. We had a glorious bonfire and fireworks to celebrate the coming of winter and the beginning of the real preparations. The snow came down very thickly in November, and the elves and the snow boys had several tobogganing half holidays. The polar cubs were not good at it. They fell off, and most of them took to rolling or sliding down just on themselves. Today, but this is the best bit. I just had finished my picture, or I might have drawn it differently and better. Polar Bear was being allowed to decorate a big tree in the garden all by himself and the ladder. Suddenly, are heard terrible growly squeaky noises. We rushed out to find Polar Bear hanging on the tree himself. "You are not a decoration," said Father Christmas. "Anyway, I am a light," he shouted. He was. We threw a bucket of water over him, which spoiled a lot of the decorations, but saved his fur. The silly old thing. Neither. The silly old thing had rested the ladder against a branch instead of the trunk of the tree. Then he thought, "I will light just the candle to see if they are working," although he was told not to, so he climbed the tip of the ladder with just a taper. Then a branch cracked and the ladder slipped in the snow, and the polar bear fell into the tree and caught on some wire, and his fur got caught on fire. Poor joke. Luckily, he was rather damp, or he might have fizzled. I wonder if roast polar bear is good to eat. Not as good as well spanked and fried elf. That's what Polar Bear says. Yeah, the banter between these two is great. The last picture is imaginary and not very good, but I hope it will come true. It will if Polar Bear behaves. I hope you can read my writing. I try to write like dear old Father Christmas without the trembles, but I cannot do so well. I can write elvish better, and he wrote, I think he wrote legitimate like elvish from The Hobbit and from Lord of the Rings. That's the elvish right there. You can kind of barely see it. That is some, but Father Christmas says I write even too spidery, and you would never read it. And it says, "A very Merry Christmas to you all. Love, Ilbereth." And he writes a word that is runic. A big hug and lots of loves. Enormous thanks for letters. I don't get many, though I work so hard. I am practicing new writing with lovely thick pen. Quicker than Arctic. I invented it. Ilbereth is cheeky. How are the bingos? A Merry Christmas, North Polar Bear. Man, these are just the loveliest little things. Letters should stop having quite so many disasters. Yeah, the Hobbit money should be coming in. I'm sure he didn't get like rich from that, but he at least got out of poverty because of that, for sure. I love that it was published in 1937, so he's like talking about his own book in this. This is 1938. Let's see what happens this year if they have a little bit more money. This is Christmas, 1938. My dear Priscilla and all others at your house, here we are again. Bless me. I believe that I said before, but after all, you don't want Christmas to be different each year, do you? I am frightfully sorry I haven't had the time to draw any big picture this year, and Ilbereth, my secretary, has not done one either, but we are all sending you some rhymes instead. Some of the other children seem to like rhymes, so perhaps you will. We have all been very sorry to hear about Christopher. I hope he is better and will have a jolly Christmas. I only heard lately when my messengers and letter collectors came back from Oxford. Is this is the war? I'm guessing. Maybe his son was just drafted. Tell him to cheer up. And although he is now growing up and leaving stockings behind, I shall still bring a few things along this year. Among them is a small astronomy book which gives a few hints on the use of telescopes. Thank you for telling me he had got one. Dear me, my hand is shaky. I hope you can read some of this. I loved your long letter with all the amusing pictures. Give my love to your bingos and all the other 60 or more, especially Raggles and Preddy and Tinker and Taylor and Jubilee and Snowball. I hope you will go on writing to me for a long while yet. Very much love to you, and lots for Chris from Father Christmas. And this is the rhyme that he wrote them. Again this year, my dear Priscilla, when you're asleep upon your pillow. The polar bear is writing commentary on this. He wrote, bad rhyme. That's beating you. Beside your bed, old Father Christmas. The English language has no rhyme for Father Christmas. That's why I'm not very good at making verse. But what I find is a good deal worse is that boys and girls' names won't rhyme either. And bother. Either won't rhyme. Either won't rhyme neither. So please forgive me, dear Priscilla, if I pretend your rhymes. If I pretend you rhyme with pilla. And then Ilberith writes, she won't. As I was saying, beside your bed, old Father Christmas, afraid that any creak or hissmas. This is comedic genius. He goes, as I was saying, beside your bed, old Father Christmas, afraid that any creak or hiss must. And then Ilberith writes, how's that? ? Or no, I think Father Christmas is writing, how's that? And then Polar Bear writes, out! ! Wake you up will in a twinkling fill up your stockings. I have an inkling that it belongs in fact to Pater, but never mind. Had to help Father Christmas out here, Ilberith. At 12 or later he will arrive, and hopes once more that he is chosen from his store. I did it. That's Polar Bear. The things you want. You're 9:30. She's not a clock. But still, I hope you'll drop a line for some years yet, and won't forget old Father Christmas and his pet, the North Polar Bear, and polar cubs, as fat as little butter tubs, and snow boys and elves, in fact the whole of my household up near the pole. Upon my list made in December, your number is, if you remember, 56,785. It can't be wondered. Weak. Polar Bear is writing, weak. At that I am so busy, when you think that you are nearly 10. And in that time my list has grown by quite 10,000 girls alone, even when I've subtracted all the houses where I no longer call. You all will wonder what's the news, if it has all gone well, and if not, who's to blame, and whether Polar Bear has earned a mark, good, bad, or fair, for his behavior since last winter. Well, first he trod upon a splinter. This is just wild. Just rhyming nonsense. It was a nail, rusty too. And went on crutches in November. Then, one cold day in December, he burnt his nose and singed his paws upon the kitchen grate because, without the help of tongs, he tried to roast hot chestnuts. Wow, he cried. I never did. He used a pound of butter, best, to cure the burns. He would not rest. I was not given a chance. But on went the 23rd he went, and climbed upon the roof he meant, to clear the snow away that choked the chimney up, and of course he poked his leg right through the tiles and snow. In tons he fell upon his bed below. He has broken saucers, cups, and plates, and eaten lots of chocolates. He's dropping large wooden boxes on my toes, and trodden tin soldiers flat in rows. You need not believe all this, says Polar Bear. And then Ilberith writes, you need. He's over-wounded engines and broken springs, and mixed up different children's things. He's thumbed new books and burst balloons, and scribbled lots of smudgy runes on my best paper, and wiped his feet on scarves and hankies folded neat. And yet he has been, on the whole, a very kind and willing soul. He's fetched and carried, counted, packed, and for a week has never slacked. And Polar Bear writes, hear, hear. And then Father Christmas writes, I wish you wouldn't scribble on my nice page. He's climbed the cellar stairs at least 5,000 times. Oh, the dear old beast. Paxu sends love, and Volok Tuka, they are still with me, and they don't look a year older. but they're just a bit more wise and they have a pinch more wit. The goblins, you'll be glad to hear, have not been seen at all this year. Not near the North Pole, but I am told they're moving south and getting bold, and coming back to many lands and making their wicked hands. New mines and caves, but do not fear, they'll hide away when I appear. Christmas Day, postscript by Ilbereth. Now Christmas Day has come round again, and poor North Polar Bear has got a bad pain. They say he's swallowed a couple of pounds of nuts without cracking the shells, it sounds. A polarish sort of thing to do. But that isn't allowed. But that isn't all between me and you. He's eaten a ton of various goods and recklessly mixed all his favorite food. Honey with ham and turkey with treacle, and pickles with milk. I think that a week'll be needed to put the old bear on his feet. And I mustn't forget his particular treat. Plum pudding with sausages and Turkish delight. Turkish delight. Covered with cream and devoured at a bite. And after this dish, he stood on his head. It's rather a wonder the poor fellow's not dead. And then Polar Bear writes, absolute rot. I have not got a pain in my pot. I do not eat turkey or meat. Rude fellow. I stick to the sweet, which is why, as all know, I am so sweet myself. You thinless elf. Goodbye. He means fatuous. No, I do not. You're not fat, but thin and silly. I love the banter between these two. This is great. Pickles with milk is yummy? Weird. No, actually never tried that. This really is so funny. You know my friends too well to think, although they're rather rude to think, that there are really quarrels here. We've had a very jolly year, except for Polar Bear's rusty nail. But now this rhyme must catch the mail. A special messenger must go, in spite of the thickly falling snow, or else this won't get down to you. On Christmas Day, it's 2:30. We've quite a ton of crackers still to pull and glasses still to fill. Our love to you on this Noel. Until Christmas, until the next one, fare you well. Father Christmas, Polar Bear, Ilbereth, Paxu, and Voloktuka. Gosh, that's so good. That was like, man, this dude just knows how to write. And like, he's just a whimsical guy. He's just having fun. You really like sense that he never really lost his like youthful, childlike self, which I feel is so important. I love that. My dear P, this is the last Beatrix Potter painting book that I have got. I don't believe they are making any more. I am sending it to you with love. Father Christmas. Boxing Day 1938 on the Feast of St. Stephen. I have just found it. And my letter never sent off. Most annoying. Very sorry. But perhaps something after Christmas will be rather nice. Not my fault, Polar Bear, nor mine, Ilbereth. Father Christmas left them on his desk, covered with wrapping. Oh, so I guess he forgot a gift, maybe, and just kind of like found it after Christmas. It's so cute. I'm sure his daughter just loved this. Wow, we're coming down. We're coming to a close. We only have a few letters left. Don't knock until you try it. All right, this is 1939. My dear Priscilla, I'm glad you managed to send me 2 more letters, although you have been rather busy working. I hope your bingo family will have a jolly Christmas and behave themselves. Tell Billy, is not that the father's name? Not to be so cross. They are not to quarrel over crackers I am sending. I am afraid there is not basil coming. I have not got any small bingos left, but I am sending a lovely clean Aunt Gilly, which is short for Juliana, who will keep Millie in order, I hope, or take your place if she does not improve. I hope all the other things are what you want. I am very busy and things are very difficult this year, owing to this horrible war. Many of my messengers have never come back. I haven't been able to do a very nice picture this year. It's supposed to show me carrying things down our new path, the sleigh sheds. Paxu was in front with a torch, looking most fretfully pleased with himself. As usual, there is a glimpse, quite enough, of Polar Bear strolling along behind. He is, of course, carrying nothing. There have been no adventures here, and nothing funny has happened. And that is because Polar Bear has hardly had anything to help, as he calls it this year. Rot, as Polar Bear says. I don't think he has been lazier than usual, but he has been not well at all. He ate some fish that disagreed with him last November, and was afraid he might have to go to the hospital in Greenland. But after living only on warm water for a fortnight, he suddenly threw the glass and jug out of the window and decided to get better. He drew the trees in the pictures, I'm afraid they are not very good. Best part of it. That's what Polar Bear says. They look more like umbrellas. Still, he sends love to you and all your bears. Why don't you have polar bear cubs instead of bingos and koalas? He says. Why not? Give my love to Christopher and Michael and John when you write next. Love from Father Christmas. This is the picture that he drew. Look at the polar bear just like gallivanting with the flame in his hair, or a flame in his hand. Yeah, she would have been 10 when this letter was written. Man, she's getting old. It's crazy. I feel like we just experienced some of her life. This is December 23rd. This is written by the Polar Bear. Dear Priscilla, glad to find you are back. This is 1940. Message came on Saturday that your house was empty. Was afraid you had gone without leaving any address. Are having very difficult time this year, but are doing our best. Thank you for explaining about your room. Father Christmas sends love. Please excuse blots. Rather busy. Yours, Polar Bear. This is Christmas Eve of 1940. My dearest Priscilla, just a short letter to wish you a very happy Christmas. Please give my love to Christopher. We are having a rather difficult time this year. This horrible war is reducing all our stocks. In so many countries, children are living far from their homes. Polar Bear has had a very busy time trying to get our address list corrected. I am glad you are still at home. I wonder what you will think of my picture. Penguins don't live at the North Pole, you will say. I know they don't. But we have got some all the same. What would you expect? What you would call evacuees? I believe not a very nice word, except that they don't come here to escape the war, but to find it. They heard such stories of the happenings up in the north, including a quite untrue story about a polar bear and all the polar cubs had been blown up, and that I had been captured by the goblins, and they swam all the way here to see if they could help me. Nearly 50 arrived. This is the Dunedain. How great is this? These are the Dunedain Rangers. The penguins are the Dunedain. This is just fantastic. The Dunedain Rangers have the Dunedain penguins have arrived in order to help Father Christmas. Michael, what's up? Merry Christmas. Enjoy some of the last letters. We're almost done with the letters from Father Christmas. The picture of the polar bear. The picture is of the polar bear dancing with their chiefs. They amuse us enormously. They don't really help much, but are always playing funny games and dancing, and trying to imitate the walk of the polar bear and the cubs. Polar bears and all the cubs are very well. They have really been very good this year, and have hardly had the time to get into any mischief. I hope you will find most of the things you wanted, and I am very sorry that you have no cat's tongue left, but I have sent nearly all the books you asked for. I could not get the pamphlets in time. Perhaps your father could get them for you. All the same, I hope your stockings will seem full. Very much love from your old friend, Father Christmas. And this is the image of the polar bear dancing with the penguins. These are just the loveliest little letters. I just love this so much. We only have a few more letters. I'm actually kind of sad. This one is a long one, 1941. Let me get another sip of water. This is near North Pole, December 22nd, 1941. My dearest Priscilla, I am so glad you did not forget to write me again this year. The number of children who keep up with me seems to be getting smaller. I expect it is because of this horrible war. And when that is over, things will improve again, and I shall be busy as ever. But at present, so many people have lost their homes or have left them. Half the world seems to be in the wrong place. And even up here, we have been having troubles. I don't mean only with my stores, of course, they are getting low. They were already low last year, and I have not been able to fill them up, so that I have now to send what I can instead of what is asked for. But worse than that has happened. I expect you remember that some years ago we had trouble with goblins, and we thought we had settled it. Well, it broke out again this autumn. Worse than it has been for centuries. We have had several battles, and for a while, my house was besieged. In November, it began to look likely that it would be captured, and all my goods and my Christmas stockings would remain empty all over the world. Would not that have been a calamity? It has not happened, and that is largely due to the efforts of Polar Bear. That's me! But it was not until the beginning of this month that I was able to send out any messengers. I expect the goblins thought that with so much war going on, this was a fine chance to recapture the north. They must have been preparing for some years. They have made a huge new tunnel, which had an outlet many miles away. It was early in October that they suddenly came out in thousands. Polar Bear says they were at least 1 million, but that is his favorite big number. There were at least 100 million. Anyway, he was still fast asleep at the time, and I was rather drowsy myself. The weather was rather warm for the time of the year, and Christmas seemed far away. There were only 1 or 2 elves about the place, and of course Paksu and Volkatuka also fast asleep. The penguins had also gone away in the spring. Luckily, goblins cannot help yelling and beating on drums when they mean to fight, so we all woke up in time and got to the gates and doors barred and the windows shuttered. Polar Bear got on the roof and fired rockets into the goblin host as they poured up along the reindeer drive, but that did not stop them for long. We were soon surrounded. I have not the time to tell you all the story. I had to blow 3 blasts on the great horn. Windbeam! Windbeam. Hold on. Windbeam? Is Windbeam? Wait, what's the other Ent's name? It's not Windbeam. What is Windbeam from Lord of the Rings? Quickbeam. Was it Quickbeam? Yeah, it was Quickbeam. Windbeam is his brother. Windfola and Quickbeam. It's a combination of those two. That's actually so funny. That's so great. Windbeam. He blows on his horn named Windbeam. Dang, I love this. It hangs over the fireplace in the hall. And if I have not told you about it before, it's because I have not had to blow it for there now. I was interrupted, and it is now Christmas Eve, and I don't know when I shall get it finished again. But I haven't had to blow it for over 400 years. Its sound carries as far as the north wind blows. All the same, it was 3 whole days before help came. Snowboys, polar bears, and hundreds of elves. They came up behind the goblins, and Polar Bear, really awake this time, rushed out with a blazing branch off the fire in each paw. He must have killed dozens of goblins. He says 1 million. Oh my gosh! This is wild. They came up behind the goblins, and Polar Bear, really awake this time, rushed out with a blazing branch off the fire in each paw. Oh, I just read that already. But there was a big battle down in the plain near the North Pole in November, in which the goblins brought hundreds of new companies out of their tunnels. We were driven back to the cliff, and it was not until Polar Bear and a party of his younger relatives crept by out at night and blew up the entrance to the new tunnels with nearly 100 pounds of gunpowder that we got the better of them for the present. But the bang went all the stuff for the making of the fireworks and the crackers. the cracking part, for some years. The North Pole cracked and fell over for the second time, and we have not yet had time to mend it. Polar Bear is rather a hero. I hope he does not think so himself. I do, as a Polar Bear says. But of course he is very magical. He is a very magical animal, really. NB. And goblins can't do much to him when he is awake and angry. I have seen their arrows bouncing off him and breaking. Well, that will give you some idea of their events. And you will understand why I have not had time to draw a picture this year. Rather a pity, because I have been sending such exciting things to draw. And why I have not been able to collect for the usual things for you, or even very few things that you asked for. I am told that nearly all the Alison Utley books have been burnt, and I could not find one of the moldy warps. I must try and get one for next time. I am sending you a few other books, which I do hope you will like. There is not a great deal else, but I send you very much love. I like to hear about all your bingo bears, or all your bear bingo. But really, I think he is too old and important to hang up stockings. But Polar Bear seems to feel that any kind of bear is a relation. And he said to me, "Leave it to me, old man." That, I'm afraid, is what he calls me often. I will pack a perfectly beautiful selection for his Polinus. Yes, Polinus. So I shall try and bring a beautiful selection along. What it is, I don't know. Very much love from your old friends Father Christmas and Polar Bear. Message to BB from PB. Sorry, I could not send you a really good bomb. All our powder has gone up in a big bang. You would have seen what a really good explosion is like if you had been there. This is great. This is wild. I know. What happened 400 years ago? I'm really curious about the battle 400 years ago. You definitely know that Tolkien had it in his mind that he was going... He already planned out that story 400 years ago. He had to create the lore for that. I agree. I think Tolkien would have loved Klaus. I feel like I'm getting a lot of Klaus vibes from this, to be honest. This is Klaus and Jesper, and this is great. Man, we only have 2 more years left. This is 1942, Christmas Eve. My dear Priscilla, Polar Bear tells me that he cannot find any letters from you among this year's piles. I hope he has not lost any. He is so untidy. Still, I expect you have been very busy this autumn at your new school. I have had to guess what you would like. I think I know fairly well. And luckily, we are still pretty well off for books and things of that sort. But really, you know, I've never seen my stock so low or my cellar so full of empty spaces, as Polar Bear says. I'm hoping that I should be able to replenish them before long, though there is so much waste and smashing going on that it makes me rather set, and anxious too. Deliveries, too, are more difficult than ever this year, with damaged houses and houseless people, and all the dreadful events going on in your countries. Of course, it is just as peaceful and merry in my land as it ever was. We had our snow early this year, and then nice crispy frosty nights to keep white and firm, and bright starry days. No sun just now, of course. I am giving as big a party tomorrow night as I ever did. Polar cubs, Paksu and Volkatuka, of course, among them, and snow boys and elves. We are having the tree indoors this year, in the halls at the foot of the great staircase, and I hope Polar Bear does not fall down the stairs and crash into it after it is all decorated and lit up. I hope you will not mind my bringing this little letter along with your things tonight. I am short of messengers, as some have great trouble in finding people and have been away for far too long. Just now I caught Polar Bear in my pantry, and I am sure he has been to a cupboard. I do not know why. He has wrapped up a mysterious small parcel which he said he wants me to bring to you. Well, not exactly to you, he said. She has got a bear too, as you ought to remember. Well, my dear, here is very much love from Father Christmas. Once more, a very good wishes for 1943. No battles at all this year. Quiet as quiet. I think the goblins were really crushed this time. Windbeam is hanging over the mantelpiece and is quite dusty again. I am glad to say. but Polar Bear has spent lots of time this year making fresh gunpowder just in case. He says, wouldn't that grubby little Billy like being here? I don't know what he was talking about, unless it was all about your bear. Does he eat gunpowder? You'll find out about the pantry. Ha ha ha. I know what you like. Don't let that Billy Bear eat it at all. Love from Polar Bear. Man, this is just lovely. This is the last letter right here, guys. We're about to read. This is 1943. My dear Priscilla, a very happy Christmas. I suppose you will be hanging up your stocking just once more. That actually kind of makes me sad. I hope so, for I still have a few little things for you. After this, I shall have to say goodbye, more or less. I mean, I shall not forget you. I always keep the old numbers of our old friends, and their letters, and later on we hope to come back when they are grown up and have houses and children of their own. My messengers tell me that people call it grim this year. I think they mean miserable. And so it is, I fear, in very many places where I was specially fond of going, like Germany. But I am not glad to hear that you are still not really miserable. Don't be. I am still very much alive, and shall come back again soon, as merry as ever. There has been no damage in my country, though my stocks are running rather low. I hope soon to put that right. Polar Bear too tired to write himself, so he says. I am, really. Sends a special message to you. Love and a hug. He says, do ask if she still has a bear called Silly Billy or something like that, or is he worn out? Give my love to the others, John and Michael and Christopher, and of course to all your pets that you used to tell me about. As I have got very many of the things you usually want, I am sending you some nice, bright, clean money. I have lots of that. More than you have, I expect, but it is not very much use to me. Perhaps it will be to you. You might find it useful to buy a book with that you really want. Very much love from your old friend, Father Christmas. That's a really kind of sad ending. Yeah, she was getting old and went to boarding school. The end. Aww. That is like a little sad ending. That was such a beautiful, lovely little story. I kind of want to write a little essay about this. I didn't think I was going to because I didn't think it was going to be like that, like in depth. But I kind of want to write about how this feels like Lord of the Rings up in the North Pole. Like the little battles between the goblins and between the elves and between the penguins coming. It feels like his like testing ground for Lord of the Rings. He has quick beam coming. Man, that was great. It was really sweet. What a sweet bunch of letters he sent to this kid. So imaginative. This is the Lord of the Rings of the North Pole. Maybe that's like the video title that it'll do. He really is good at making you stay and want to never leave. I'm sure his kids are probably sending letters asking all about what like what was going on up north. They want all the information. It's so cute. Sean, yeah, shocked that I would write an essay about that, huh? I know, me too. I would love if they probably kept those. I kind of love too that they haven't published those because I'm sure they probably have the majority of them. But there's a point of this that I'm like, it's great that we have a lot of Tolkien stuff, but like you have to keep some stuff private. I do love that they did keep some of that stuff private. They probably didn't want their own letters to be published, just their dad's. Like there's like a lack of correspondence that I actually love that we don't have. Because like we get to fill in the gaps for that, but we also don't have to pry into the kids' lives too much. I think that's like a kind of like a beautiful part of this. What a beautiful little story. Nice, Benjamin. I'm glad. I'm glad that you like the Lord of the Rings videos too. Yeah, we literally read what that was like 15 to 20 years of someone else's letters that he sends to his kids. Imagine that. Imagine your letters to your kids get published. That's strange to some extent, but I'm very grateful for it because he's great. He's a great writer, so imaginative. It gives us like a little bit more insight into his life. I think that's just so fantastic. And honestly, it gives insight into like the war and the things that he had going on at that time with his kids, and man, just so fantastic. What a good story. Merry Christmas, guys. What a great little thing to read right before Christmas. All right, everyone. I'm gonna just jump off. Got lots of little essays coming out. I'm probably gonna write a little essay about this. I think this little book deserves at least like a quick little essay about this is the Lord of the Rings of the North Pole or something like that. So I'll probably publish that maybe like Christmas Eve. Maybe in like a day or two. Maybe on Christmas morning, we'll see. Good, I'm glad, Crystal. Did make me kind of sad too. But I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it. This is fun. I like that you guys are kind of wrapping gifts and just hanging out, having good like little Christmases and listening to me read this story. I had a great time with you guys. Merry Christmas to you guys. If I don't see you. If you guys want, I'll probably be reading Pride and Prejudice a little bit tomorrow on the other channel. If you want to just join on that, you can subscribe for that one. I'm just talking about Pride and Prejudice and reading some Pride and Prejudice too. But really, we're just, we're Lord of the Rings fans here. But Merry Christmas, guys. If I don't see you, I'll see you soon. And yeah, Merry Christmas and potentially a Happy New Year if I don't see you then. Have a great night, guys. I wish we had a better way to end this other than Galadriel, but I feel like Galadriel is still a good way to end. Have a good night, everyone. What time? I'm actually not sure. Let me figure out what time right now, and then I'll post it into that little thing. It'll probably be sometime, maybe like noon tomorrow. That's my guess. But I'll post it in like a few minutes. Live long and prosper. Later, guys.